Hey, it's me. Ladies and gentlemen, Paula Cole is joining us for our third interview. There have not been many guests who have come back for a second and then third interview, but she has this new album out. It's called Revolution, a very powerful word indeed. By my count, this is the 10th album. Is that correct?
That's correct. 10th album.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Paula Cole, how are you?
I'm well. I'm calling from Atlanta. We are just about to sound check, and I'm here with the band. We've played 5 concerts already, and we have 10 more to go, I think, something like that. So we're in the middle of a tour for Revolution. It's exciting, and the feedback about the album has been really wonderful. So that's life-affirming to be kind of regarded anew for my writing and not just always be thought of, as the hit songs, but beyond that, to see me who I am today. Things feel really good. Yeah, it's hard work being on the road, and I'm with my tour family, and here we go.
Wonderful to hear. And, I was just thinking about, from what you were saying, you were saying it's nice to be regarded not as the person, who just had these hit songs. And it occurred to me, and it might be because I know your music and listen to it a lot, I don't necessarily think of your hit songs when I think of you right off the bat. It's like I have to sometimes, and also I would explain her to the general public in this way,
Yeah, and it's understandable. I mean, all of us do that. You're known for your most successful thing, and at first I was known as Peter Gabriel's backup singer, and then I was known for Where Have All the Cowboys Gone, and then it was, that song on Dawson's Creek, but we both know, I've been writing and making music for a long time now, and I'm a lot of things, and it takes time to kind of take it all in. So my fans now are close to my heart. They have lasted with me over decades, and they know the content of my catalog, and the shows are interesting. I'm touring behind Revolution, so we're playing a lot of those songs right now. But the catalog is getting so rich that we can move the set around a good bit. We can play songs from Harbinger, and then play songs from the new album, play the hits, and just make it interesting for ourselves. So it's good. It's good to be here still. I'm still here. I'm still here doing it, making the music and in good enough voice to be doing what I'm doing, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my fans.
You just mentioned the first album there, and I heard it said about this album, Revolution, that it fulfills the promise of that first record. What do you think about that statement?
I think it's a very grand statement, and I'm humbled by it. I'm humbled by that. I think, honestly, it's so much about timing. There's luck and there's timing in a career, and I think the timing of Revolution is right on. It's just, and I don't know, maybe because of our political world and progressives and people of color and LGBTQ and women, all of us are frustrated, and women, we got to see a renaissance with Lilith Fair, and then that all went away, and there was backlash, and we've been kind of continuing in the trenches without much recognition. I mean, I certainly feel I've been continuing in the trenches without a lot of recognition for some time, and maybe it is time, and people want to expand and recognize. So whatever it is, that beautiful statement met with my hard work of making an album and the good timing, and I do believe it's a good album, but I think it's some lucky timing.
What would you say is the story that Revolution, the album, as a whole tells?
I think the most core theme, because there are many, is that of not taking on silence anymore. That it doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve us. I was raised by two parents that are silent generation parents. Their entire ethos is that, especially being New Englanders, that taking it on the chin and holding it in silence is somehow something dignified or stoic and right. And there's definitely times for that, and Lord knows I've done my share of that. It doesn't work anymore. Not with millennials coming in, not with our landscape being so challenged in this country with what's going on. It's time to be heard. It is time to speak out, especially as an artist, especially for me as an artist. I've been sitting on some very personal things that came out in a song such as Silent. As an artist, we need to be the politicians of the future. That's what Picasso said. And look at his work. He would react immediately to something that happened politically. He would react to Guernica. He created that fantastic mural in response to Franco's deal with Hitler, allowing the town of Guernica be an experiment for the Luftwaffe and their new weaponry, because it was convenient for Franco. He wanted to put down the people in the northeast of Spain because they were being too vocal and too uprising. He made a response to that political equation by creating Guernica, a masterpiece, and he was very vocal about saying, we must speak. And I feel that's true for me. I'm tired of holding on to painful things that I've absorbed, whether it's being a bystander or being the victim or being the mother in this micro society where I was so different because I was a working mother, and yet I didn't fit in with the moms and I didn't fit in with the men at a party. So using these examples of silence, and it doesn't work, especially with millennials. They've taught me so much. I love them for it. I love their vocal quality. So that to me is number one. That's the message of the album. And then from there, of course, there's environmentalism. Let's talk about the planet. Let's talk about species that are going extinct. I'm writing about it in songs. I don't think there are enough songs about this. We're not talking about it enough. I'm so worried for the planet. We need to act immediately. We have to stop plastic use. Single plastic use. It's insane. Well, all we are going to do is kill ourselves by eliminating our own resources and food source. So there's singing and speaking for women, for people of color, for all niches of society that are being hunted right now. We are I feel like, prey by the predators right now, and we just can't. That's unacceptable. So it's many things. But overcoming silence and rejecting silence is central, I think.
I'm glad that you've said this about overcoming silence. When I listened to the album, it was something that the album made me think of. I thought, when it was over, because it's something that I struggle with the most. There are so many times where I should have spoken up about something and I didn't.
Yeah.
Why can it be so hard for us to speak up?
Well, I can only speak for myself, and I don't know what it is for you, but those are the questions that keep me awake at 4 a.m. That and worrying about elephants, I suppose. But I regretted, like, for instance, verse 1 on that song, Silent. That was something that I would think about it in the early morning hours, and why was I silent? But because I was, and because I regret it, I don't think I would be silent as much in the future. That's why we have to practice it, right? We have to practice it and observe ourselves. Like, are we falling into ourselves right now in silence? How do you feel? Like, checking in with your feelings about it. Does this feel wrong? Is it time for you to speak out? Well, you have to do it lightning speed, kind of intrapersonally within yourself, and check in. And we have to encourage each other by speaking out. I think if artists do it, then other people will do it. It has to start with artists. We're usually like the canaries in the coal mine, the harbingers. Here you go. We have to speak out. We have to be in reaction. So practice it. Practice having a faster response time. You can, we can all do it. We've all made that mistake. We can all get better.
This album, it starts with a very interesting track, an intro. Revolution is a state of mind. How did you get the idea to start the album in this very unique way?
I had that melodic idea, the Revolution chorus in the minor key years ago, and I always liked it because, I don't know, it just haunted me. There are a couple of song seeds from Revolution that were born years ago, and they stay in the back of my subconscious, kind of gestating, and they niggle at my brain, and then I work on them. So that theme in the minor key felt like it was going to speak well for the rest of the material on the album. And then I wanted to bring it into some victorious, positive place, so I brought it to the major, and then it resolves to the major, and it brings in that Scottish war march, da 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 dun 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 dun. So that's everyone knows that. But if you've watched a parade and you've seen the Scottish bagpipes coming by, it's a war march and it's victorious feeling. And I wanted that, and I wanted to bring about a spoken word piece, and I didn't quite know what to do at first. I was thinking Lord's Prayer. In the first session when we cut the tune, I just recited the Lord's Prayer. I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, and then I ended up excerpting words by Dr. Martin Luther King, and I wanted it spoken by a man's voice with gravitas. I first tried to get Harry Belafonte to do that, but he couldn't do it, and he's a legend, and it was a long stretch to ask that, but I adore him and respect him so much. And I worked with Bob Thompson, who's a brilliant pianist. He's part of the Mountain Stage band for Mountain Stage Radio, and he has the most beautiful speaking voice. I thought, that's it. His voice is stunning. So he was happy to do it, and I just, we made the music work to his voice and the timing work. And Nona Hendricks, who's, again, another legend. Gosh, I mean, she is fire. She just created all those vocals, and it's a collective of all of our voices, really, isn't it? And it serves as the perfect intro to the album. It's not too songy. It's more like a piece and a march and an introduction. So I just named it as an introduction. Yeah.
I'm hoping you can tell us also about Blues in Gray and about your great-grandmother, Charlotte. And I know she was an inspiration there. What got you thinking about her?
Well, thank you, first of all, for the thoughtful questions, Paul. But my great-grandmother is with me, and I don't know why, but I have but one picture of us together, and I was a baby, a chubby-cheeked baby who had fallen asleep in her lap. And now being a mom, when babies are content with certain people and not content with other people. And when I see this picture, as a mother myself now, I know that, as a baby, I really felt right at home in her lap. I was completely flopped over, chubby-cheeked, asleep in Charlotte's lap. And I knew that she loved me. I can see it in the picture. And so I hung that picture up in my home when I was going to be giving birth to my daughter, and I named my daughter after her. She's somehow with me in this inexplicable way. She was a fascinating woman who was a brilliant pianist. She was admitted to Yale before women were admitted to Yale in 1969. She was admitted to the music school, and then she got engaged and was pressured to leave Yale and her professional dreams, and was pressured to have 5 children, and she nearly died with the birth of each 4, after which she said enough. He divorced her, he married somebody else, had 5 children with another woman, and she, and these were olden times, so being divorced was pretty scandalous, and she taught piano the rest of her life. These stories abound in everybody's family of women not having a voice in the world professionally, having dreams buried to raise babies and do drudgery and just help the family. It happens over and over and over. So Charlotte, I'm singing for her as much as I am myself. I sing for my mother. I sing for all of us who don't have a voice, I feel a sense of purpose and meaning if I'm doing that, if I'm including others in my dream. So the song is for her.
You know, I was reading on your website and you were talking about how people sometimes they feel like they have to do something, or they want to do something else and they don't have the ability to. And for every artist who so-called, they use this phrase, makes it, there's all these talented artists that they never are able to make a living. They're never really able to be compensated. If you could use your imagination, do you think you would still write songs, still perform songs, even if you did not have the ability to make a living at it?
That's a hard question because I think I would write songs. Yes, I do. I think if I had chosen something else, like out of practicality and perhaps ego, identifying with our persona in the world, with our job, like 'cause work is religion in America, right? So our job is so self-defining, and I had a very smart, perfectionistic father who probably wanted to see me succeed professionally no matter what. So I felt the need to be good at whatever I did. And if it weren't music, I would have done something. I would have had some career. But I think I would have desperately longed for the music, and it would have been like this inner river that needed to flow. And I'm sure I would have written songs. I'm sure I would have sung and written. I don't think maybe performed. I don't think I would have done that. I don't know. But I'm such an introvert that I don't know if I would have needed that.
Is it still nerve-wracking? Is getting on stage any more comfortable?
It's comfortable. I mean, I'm always a little nervous, no matter what. And it's more comfortable when the conditions are right, and that's why you have management or people arranging, to have your needs met. Like I'm so frequently asked, can you please not have a piano? Can you please play a keyboard? It'll save us $1,000. We don't have to bring it in because now, sadly, tragically, people don't have pianos anymore. I mean, pianos used to be everywhere. Pianos used to be in my parents' elementary school classrooms. Every teacher was expected to play and teach songs. Now, pianos are extinct, nearly, and clubs think their plastic keyboard is so fantastic, and it might be a little bit, but it's not a piano. Piano is a percussion instrument with wood and hammers and felt, and I that's my instrument. I don't want to play a keyboard. So starting with that, like I have to advocate for the conditions to be right. Otherwise, I get more nervous and I'm unhappy. It's just not the right thing. I'm nervous. I'm always nervous a little bit, but when I have my family around me, like the fellas in my band are just such beautiful gentlemen, and they have my back and they believe in me so well. I mean, I'm so fortunate. Jay Bellarose, my drummer, has been with me since I was 19, and I can't play with him all the time, but I have other musicians with me that are my brothers. Chris Bruce on guitar, and Kevin Barry on guitar, and Ross Gallagher on upright bass. I'm surrounded by people who love me, and that makes it a lot easier. I have piano, I have my conditions written, then it gets easier, right? But if I were to have to just be plucked out of a crowd and thrown up on stage, that'd be awful. I mean, of course I get nervous every time, right? But this is my work, and I need certain work conditions, right? I mean, we all do. If we are professional at something and we've honed it and we know what works and what is beautiful, then these are my conditions. So that helps me. I think like Joni Mitchell said this to me when we were having lunch in LA. When I was living in LA, I would run into her sometimes, and because she could smoke outside at the Hotel Bel Air, not the Bel Air deli. Anyway, she said, like, the longer you stay away from it, the more nervous you get when you come back, and that's true. So when you're in the flow, it's easier to get back up on the stage and do it. But I'm always a little nervous. But I've got good people and good conditions, so I'm really, really fortunate that way.
I always like to end the show I give the guest the stage. And it's never limited in any way, not limited to music. In closing, what would you say to anyone who's tuned in?
Vote, vote, vote. I would say think about the other beings on the planet. Think about reducing your single-use plastic. Carry like a fork in your backpack. Carry a thermos in your backpack. We just don't need more plastic. It's going to kill all the fish in the sea. Be kind to those less fortunate than you. There's a lot of people struggling. I'm traveling around America. I'm seeing a lot of tent cities, more than I ever have, in Oakland and San Francisco, in the East Bay, in Los Angeles. California's homeless is just unbelievable now. So it's hard. It's hard on everybody right now. Be kind. Be kind and good to people less fortunate, and especially to the animals on this planet. They are suffering. So start with your own reduction of plastic use.
Well, Paula Cole, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. You're, as I've said before, one of my all-time favorite guests. I love to interview you. You say so much with so few words. I want all the listeners to check out paulacole.com. If you get a chance, see her on tour. Again, the new album, it's called Revolution, a very powerful word. Paula Cole, again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Have a great show tonight. Until next time.
Until next time, you take good care of yourself and your wife, okay?
I will.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Paul.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.